The gods are the most powerful beings in the universe of Knights of the Zodiac, but there are some gods who have already been introduced in the Saint Seiya manga and anime, where they demonstrated the extent of their powers. And in today's video, we're going to get to know all of them. Hello, Knights and Amazons! Welcome to the Semperquist Saber channel. I'm Wes. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the 7 most powerful gods that have ever appeared in the Knights of the Zodiac manga and anime. Let's check out every detail of these deities, their motivations, and the historical events they're involved in. Comment which gods you think are most powerful in this universe, and don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and enjoy the video. Semperquist. Number 1, Hades, the Emperor of the Underworld and the Lord of the Dead. To start our list, there's no way not to begin with the classic, but don't be fooled. He's just your gateway to what's coming next. Hades is the ruler of the Underworld, and one of the 3 great gods alongside his brothers Zeus and Poseidon. Since mythological times, he has harbored a deep disdain for humanity, believing that human beings are sinful creatures who can only find redemption through death and eternal suffering in his domain. The true form of Hades is of a dark and melancholic beauty, with black hair and eyes that seem to contain the very void itself. However, he rarely uses his original body, preferring to possess the soul of the purest human on Earth in each generation. We see this happen with Shun of Andromeda, and in other timelines like the Lost Canvas and Next Dimension with the young Elon. Hades' grand plan is almost always the Great Eclipse, an astronomical phenomenon where he uses his cosmo to align all the celestial bodies of the solar system, permanently plunging the Earth into eternal darkness and killing all photosynthetic life, turning the world into a frozen graveyard. In terms of power, Hades wielded a legendary sword, which is a nightmare for any knight. If this blade wounds you, it doesn't just cut your physical body, it curses your soul. That's what happened to Seiya, who was left in a vegetative state because of Hades' sword. Besides that, he rules over the Elysian Fields, a paradise where only those chosen by the gods can defeat him. Athena had to awaken her armor and combine her Bronze Saint's Cosmo and raise it to levels that surpassed even lesser gods like Hypnos and Thanatos. Hades is the definition of an unstoppable force of nature. Number 2, Apollo, the god of the sun and the absolute divine will. If you watched the Heavens Overture movie, you felt a chill down your spine when Apollo appeared. Unlike other gods who shout and make a scene, Apollo is the deafening silence. He is the brother of Hades, Athena, and Artemis, and stands at the top of the Olympian hierarchy just below Zeus. Apollo doesn't see humans as enemies, he sees them as ants, something so insignificant that it shouldn't even dare look at the sun. Apollo's power is so vast that he can erase someone's existence with a single thought. At the end of the movie, we saw that not even Seiya's most powerful attack with an unknown armor was able to do more than a superficial scratch on the god's face. And Apollo's response to this boldness was simply to reset reality. He has total control over light and heat, being able to purify or destroy entire planets. His personality is stoic and relentless. He firmly believes that the gods are perfect and that any human rebellion is heresy that must be punished with extinction. Apollo's Cosmo is described as something warm and welcoming, but it crushes the will of anyone who tries to resist. He is proof that, for the gods of Olympus, humanity is just a mistake that can be corrected at any moment. However, the Apollo in the manga is different. He is still tall and imposing, but he wears golden armor and has a chariot that pulls the sun itself, being able to easily stop the 5 Bronze Saints and erase their memories, as well as erase his sister Athena's memory and seal her powers. Number 3, Apsu, the god of darkness and the origin of the universe. Now we're entering the territory of Saint Seiya Omega, and here the power scale rises to bizarre cosmological levels. Apsu is a Sumerian deity who, in the series chronology, is presented as the god who personifies the primordial darkness that existed even before the Big Bang. He is the creator of the universe in certain interpretations, and sees the entire current cosmos as an anomaly that he wishes to reabsorb into absolute emptiness. Apsu does not have a defined physical form by default. He is a mass of infinite darkness. During the events of Saint Seiya Omega, he possesses the body of Kuga of Pegasus, turning the protagonist into a vessel of pure terror. Unlike the darkness of Hades, which is focused on death, the darkness of Apsu is about non-existence. He can corrode the cosmos, light, and even organic matter just with his presence. What makes Apsu so dangerous is that he operates outside the rules of the Olympian gods. He doesn't need followers or temples. He is the very foundation of the universe. And to defeat him, Kuga had to use all his friends Cosmo and Athena's light to create an explosion of energy that temporarily pushed back Apsu's influence. He is, without a doubt, one of the oldest and most visceral threats the Knights have ever faced. Number 4, Saturn, the god of time and the lord of eternity. Saturn, the god of time, the ruler of the planet that bears his name, and the sovereign of the eternal castle. He is the final antagonist of the second season of Saint Seiya Omega. And honestly, he is probably the most resilient being in the entire franchise. Saturn is not just a god who controls time, he is time itself. He disguised himself as a human named Subaru to observe humanity up close and decide if they were worth letting live. When he finally regains his memories and his true form, he wears the Chronotector, an armor that is the fusion of the armors of all his elite palacites and represents eternity. Saturn's most unbelievable feat was to freeze time for all living beings on Earth simultaneously. No one could move except for the Knights who possessed the Omega Cosmo, the Supreme Cosmo, which surpasses even the Seventh Sense and even the Area Sheik. Even after being struck by the strongest attack from Seiya of Sagittarius, and by all the other Knights, Saturn did not suffer a single real injury. He simply decided to stop the fight because he was impressed by human determination. 5. Ares, the god of war and the carnage of the berserkers. Ares is a god who has always been mentioned as one of Athena's greatest enemies since mythological times. Although he appears more prominently in works like Saint Seiya, Saintia Show, his legend permeates the entire franchise. He is the god of bloody war, of unrestrained destruction, and of chaos on the battlefield. Unlike Athena, who fights for justice, Ares fights for the pleasure of seeing the world in flames. Ares' army is made up of the feared berserkers, warriors divided into 4 legions: terror, fire, disaster, and fear, who were so violent that they forced Athena to allow, for the first time, the Gold Saints to use the weapons from the Libra armor to contain them. Ares Cosmo is an inexhaustible source of fury. He has the ability to manipulate human emotions, turning friends into enemies and inciting global conflicts just to feed on the negative energy generated. In his incarnations, he seeks direct conflict. He doesn't have Hades' patience or Apollo's coldness. He wants to be on the front lines. His armor, the Kamui, is blood red, and he wields weapons that can destroy bronze and silver armors as if they were paper. He represents the darkest side of humanity, the will to destroy. And that's why he's one of the hardest gods to keep sealed, because war will always exist as long as there are humans. Number 6. Abel, the forgotten sun god and the power of resurrection. Phoebus Abel is a curious case, extremely powerful. He appears in the 3rd movie of the franchise and introduces himself as Athena's brother. According to the series' mythology, Abel was so powerful and arrogant that Zeus and the other gods of Olympus, fearing he would take the throne for himself, erased all records of his existence from human history. He is the god of the sun, but with an authority that rivals that of Zeus himself. Abel's greatest asset is his ability to manipulate life and death on an absurd scale. He resurrected the Gold Saints who died in the Battle of the 12 Houses: Aphrodite, Deathmask, Camus, Shura, and Saga, just so they could serve as his personal guard. In addition, he commands the solar-crowned saints, who wear armor that surpasses the durability of the gold cloths. Abel's Cosmo is so dense that he can repel any attack simply by creating an energy barrier with his Cosmo. Abel managed to send Athena's soul to the world of the dead using only his music. To defeat him, Seiya had to wear the Sagittarius gold cloth and shoot the arrow of justice. But even so, the effort required was superhuman. Abel represents the danger of a deity who was rejected by his peers and returns with a grudge capable of reducing the world to ashes. Number 7. Pontos, the primordial god of the sea and the manipulator of Dunamis. Finally, we've reached the very top of the pyramid. In terms of activity and manipulation, Pontos is one of the primordial gods, born directly from Gaia, Mother Earth, long before the Titans or the Olympian gods even thought of existing. He appears as the great puppet master in the episode G manga. What makes Pontos different from all the others is that he doesn't just use Cosmo, he uses Dunamis, the primordial energy of creation, which is far superior to conventional Cosmo. With Dunamis, he can manipulate the very structure of reality, create life from nothing, and control the oceans on a level that makes Poseidon look like a beginner. Pontos is extremely intelligent and patient. He spent millennia manipulating the Titans so that they would go to war against the Sanctuary, all so that he could collect the blood and Cosmo needed to awaken Gaia and regain control of the planet. He can move between dimensions, instantly heal fatal wounds, and possesses an armor called Ars Magna, which is the ultimate form of divine protection. He's the kind of villain you don't even know you're facing until it's too late, because he controls events from the shadows, making sure fate follows exactly what he planned. So, what did you think of this intense list? Zeus isn't on the list because obviously he's much more powerful than any of the gods we've presented. But it's impressive how the Saint Seiya universe manages to expand its concepts of divinity so much. Going from the Greek gods we learn about in school to primordial entities that control time and the void, each of these beings brought a unique challenge to Seiya and his friends. And the craziest thing of all is to think that if it weren't for Athena's protection and human resilience, Earth would have already been erased or reset dozens of times. And of course, guys, thanks for watching this video until the end, and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity!